Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for tuning in to what is going to be a video about 5 new beauty things I've been using lately. Basically, it's where I take an assortment of 5 new beauty items. This is a little redundant, isn't it? You get the picture. I'm just showing you some things I've been using lately. All of them for at least a week, most of them more. It seems like brands have been launching things like crazy lately and I've been fortunate enough to receive them in the mail. So actually all of these are press samples, but they're brand new. So I wanted to get my thoughts out there for you guys. Let me know what you think of these in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and dive in. First, let's start with Becca. They recently launched their Ocean Jewels collection, and in that is an eyeshadow palette, a blush palette, and a lip gloss. I'm going to talk about all 3 in this video, starting with the eyeshadow palette, and I gotta be honest, I did not have high hopes for this guy. I think it was actually in a 5 new products I'm using video where I talked about the holiday palette they came out with, which is in this exact same format, by the way. And I was not impressed. I didn't love that there was a lack of contrast, like all of the shadows in there, or a lot of them look the same. When you only have 7 shadows to play with, you gotta, bring some diversity in there, some contrast to really maximize the number of looks you get out of them. And then I just didn't feel like they were all that pigmented. So in terms of Becca products, and especially eyeshadows that I have in love from Becca, that palette just wasn't in my favorites pile, right? Didn't have high hopes for this guy, but I'm pleased to say it changed my mind. So you open it up, it's in the exact same format like I mentioned as the holiday palette, where it's this disc. You do have a nice big mirror here in the lid, and then you get 7 circular shadows inside. What I love about it is, unlike the holiday palette, you get not only a mix of shades, like you have your deep chocolatey brown versus your light cream shade, but you also have a mixture of textures in here. That chocolate and cream are 2 matte shadows. Then you have 2 shimmery shadows, a warmer bronzy shade and a cooler mid-tone taupey shade. And then you have 3 duochromes. This white shadow in here actually isn't white. It has a pretty strong tealy bluey green shift to it that I don't think is probably coming across as you see it here, but hopefully will over the swatches. And then you also have these other 2 shadows. This one I don't have Stars and Rockets from MAC, but it reminds me of what I think that is, but is less pigmented and more of an iridescent shift as you apply it. And then the one below is kind of like a blue-brown pigment like Max Club or a lot of other blue-brown pigments out there, but this one has a little bit more of a mauve-y shift to the undertone and that same teal duochrome element to it as well. And I also love that they included a deep shade in here so that you could go in with those duochromes either as they are to get a sheer wash of just like a little mystery across the lid, or you could be a little bit more blatant about the shift in these shadows and apply it over something deeper like that chocolatey brown, or you could totally pull from something outside of this palette like a dark chocolate or black or gray eyeliner and really make the shift in these shadows pop. So yeah, I just really love this palette. I think it has a little bit of something for everyone, whether you're a hardcore duochrome lover, it gives you those, but with your basic shadows. So if you want to pack this and only this on the go, you have it. Or if you just want to dip your toe into the duochromes, you have your staple shades, your mattes, your shimmery neutrals, but then you have this little fun zone triangle over here. It's like the McDonald's play place of the palette. Like, you're here for the food, but also a little bit for the fun. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I don't know. Next up from this collection is the highlighter palette. It is naturally the Ocean Jewels highlighter palette. There it is. I love and hate this collection. It's so prone to fingerprints. It looks like it's metallic or like a coated metal finish, but it's actually plastic, so it's pretty lightweight. You can hear it's plastic through and through, but it still feels nice and solid. Here again, you get a mirror on the inside here, and then inside here you get your 5 highlight shades, starting with Coral Crystal. That they describe as a shimmering pink peach infused with a white gold pearl. Then there's Citrine, which is a shimmering pale yellow infused with gold pearl. Aquamarine, which is delicate cool blue infused with violet pearl. Pink Pyrite, which is effervescent pink infused with shimmering gold pearl. And last is Sunstone. This is probably the more quote-unquote tame of the highlighters in this palette, and they describe it as a shimmering sandy beige infused with gold pearl. So pretty much 3 out of the 5 highlights in this palette are iridescent with a duochrome shift, which I personally love. And I want to say up front, if you are writing this off right away because you're like, I'm not putting blue on my face, I'm not putting an unnaturally iridescent pink or yellow on my face, maybe think again before you fast forward in this video. I am a huge fan of highlight layering. I have a whole video about how I like to layer my highlight, including how to wear a purple highlight on your face and not have it look as unnatural as you might think, you know? So I'll go ahead and link that. You can click the eye up here if you want to watch, or I'll link it down in the description bar below. But I find that wearing a highlight like this, even in conjunction with some of the existing highlighters in here, whether it's this sunstone, I believe, or this coral crystal over here, adding a pop of this just right around your outer corner area can add the coolest emphasis without looking over the top, kind of unnaturally colorful on your face. So that's just my 2 cents there, but backing it up to an overall review of this palette, obviously, I really like it. I love the way these shades go together. You can wear them individually, you can mix and match and combine them together. You can also wear them as eyeshadows, which I think is so cool, especially if you were to pair it with that eyeshadow palette, because you have that, like I said before, that deeper shade, so you can either wear it as a frosty shift across your lid, or you could make it really pop over a deeper base. And so I just love how versatile it is. Also, all of these highlight shades are totally new, at least they're not part of the permanent Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed collection. So you don't have to worry about doubling up in your collection at the same time. When they are gone, they're gone. So love them while you have them, but just know that if you're looking for something kind of new and fresh, but you really like the consistency of Becca highlights, these are super smooth, very finely milled, and lay like an ultra fine shimmer, sometimes even a metallic sort of finish that's so finely milled, as opposed to some other powder highlights that can just look dry and chalky and maybe overly chunky or glittery on the cheeks. These are super, super fine, so that even if you are going in with something like that, the highlight with the blue shift, you can really dial it down if you want something a little more subtle. And last up for this collection is the gloss they released. This is the Liptuitive Glow Gloss. You can see here it is clear, but it has a soft blue tint to it, and when you get really close, you can see it has gorgeous violet shimmer in it. And the premise, I mean, despite looking blue here, the premise behind this is that it actually adapts to the color, your personalized color, not the color of your lips, but it applies clear, and then you'll see it kind of shift into a peachy pink shade across your lips. Liptuitive implies that it's going to be the perfect shade match for you, but like so many color changing products out there that either react to the pH on your lips or the pH with the moisture in the air, or maybe it's heat reactant, I question how effective they are at changing to your specifically perfect pinky peach lip shade. I think it's going to adapt, and if you like the shade, that's great, but I wouldn't count on it being like your perfect lip color. And just in general, I feel like I have a couple of these, not necessarily in lip gloss form, but there are a lot of lipsticks out there that will do something similar. So if you like that premise and you personally try this and find that you like the way this adapts for your lips, I say go for it, because it gives you that glossy finish as opposed to a lot of the other lipsticks that do this out there. But of all the products in this collection, this is the one I'm just kind of, nah, it's okay, you know. I like a good gloss, but I have so many glosses in my collection that I don't think this creates a specific or unique enough pinky peach on my lips to justify buying it separately. All right, moving on to a mascara. This is a new one from L'Oreal that they sent me. This is their new Superstar X Fiber, and it is a 2-step mascara. I used to use these all the time. I'm pretty sure it was actually from L'Oreal. It had, I want to say, a teal or a purple center and then black on either end, but I think they discontinued it way back in the day. But I like them just because depending on the formula on either end and the wand on either end, it can help you build mascara in a more natural looking way, as opposed to just taking the same wand and formula and layering it up. Of course, you can always mix mascaras like that. I feel like that was super big back in the day too, but here they have it combined in one streamlined product as opposed to having to carry 2 or sometimes even 3 different mascaras there with you. So needless to say, I was excited to receive this in the mail. So the thing with this mascara is on side 1, you have a primer mascara, but unlike a lot of primers out there, this is actually a black mascara. So in the event you find you overdo it with the white and you can never ever cover up the white primer that you would typically use with your regular mascara, this eliminates that problem. You don't end up with a greigey or light black coat of mascara because that white primer is still showing through. This ensures that you're going to get the blackest black lashes from start to finish. So this has a long and thin mascara wand. It picks up super minimal products. So you just get a super light coating. I like to put this right at the roots of my lashes and it lifts them like crazy. Like I think if you are a fan of curl, or you think your lashes need, or that's your main goal with your mascara is to help curl and keep the curl in your lashes, I think this mascara is going to be a good one for you, because this is a crucial step in lifting my lashes at the base and then extending that to the ends. And it's also a great, nice, thin wand to get on the lower lashes too. It is kind of long, but in terms of the bristle size, they're short enough to where I don't feel like I'm this close to just rubbing it all over my under eye area, you know? Then on the other end, in the step 2 end, you have a little bit more of a substantial wand, I guess. It's thicker, it's a little bit fluffier, and it even has a little bit of a curve here so that you can really get in there, and again, helps curl and lift your lashes. The formula is also different over here. This side actually has fibers because this is not only, well, I don't even know that it's meant to curl. I find that it curls and lifts, but it's actually meant to extend and lengthen your lashes with those fibers. So you prime with your step 1, and then you go in here with your totally different formula, at least in the way that it contains fibers, to add a thicker coat to your lashes and then help lengthen them even more. And I've just been really pleased with the results here. I wouldn't say they're super wow voluminous lashes, but they are certainly lengthened and they're definitely curled. The one thing I would caution against though is on the lower lash line, I've got to be sure to powder my under eye area. I can totally tell on days when I kind of miss the inner corner, like it just happened yesterday, where I was running around and at the end of the day, I looked around and there was just a hint of transfer here in the inner corner. And it's just because I was using a fluffier powder brush and couldn't get quite up in there. I do notice transfer when I leave my under eye area unset. So that's the one thing that I would say is if you are transfer prone or if you occasionally forget to powder, just make sure you do it with this because I can say it's totally like budge and flake free, but I can't say it's totally transfer proof, at least on the lower lash line. And the last product is actually a collection of shades from the same product. You might have seen these floating around recently. These are the new, relatively new, Butter London Glazin Blush Gelées. I think they are just going to conquer the world with the gelée texture and collection Butter London is because their eye glaze and eye gloss or eye gelées were such a hit for me personally, but I also hear other people rave about them. I think they're just going to come out with every product in this kind of texture. They've launched blushes, so I was super excited to try them because I do, like I said, love the glaze and eye gloss. And they have 4 shades in this collection, the first of which is Glimmer, which I am wearing today on my cheeks. Then there is Dazzle, which you will see me apply in the demo. Then there are 2 kind of lighter or bronzier shades in here. The first is Sparkle, that leans a little bit more bronzy. And then there is Flicker, which is a little bit more pale peach with a strong gold shift. Now, for as much as I love the eyeglasses, I was a little skeptical to incorporate these into my face routine just because of the texture. This can happen with cream blushes too, where if you just go in and if you mix your textures, really, if you go in and apply your cream over a powder or something that has set to a powder, there's a chance that you could risk disturbing the product underneath and or that product you're layering over top not playing nice with the texture of the product underneath, which basically means like it'll clump or something. It'll just spread unevenly or it'll appear patchy or it'll make the foundation or powder you're wearing underneath kind of clump and get cakey. That's the kind of thing I worry about with this kind of stuff. And unfortunately, it is something I experienced a little bit with this product. You really have to be careful to go in and pat, not rub, if you're applying this over your existing makeup. Granted, it's going to perform differently over different bases. Maybe you won't have a problem because you have a dewier foundation or just foundation with different ingredients. I'm just saying for my everyday face and foundation routine, I experienced a little bit of uneven application on my face, and I noticed the texture here because all of these are shimmery. In fact, they're pretty much like a metallic finish. They're a blush kind of highlighter in one. I noticed applying it to the apples of my cheeks like I would an everyday blush sometimes emphasize those large pores, or if I had just kind of texture from breakouts or dryness or anything like that, these definitely emphasize those, and really to be expected in the same way that any kind of highlighting product would emphasize that uneven texture. So just something to keep in mind with these. They might not be for everyone, especially if you have textured skin or struggle with keeping the emphasis on textured skin at bay. These might not be for you. I do think, however, they would, especially with summer coming up, be great on bare skin as like beach blush or like, you know, by the pool blush. If you're basically wearing nothing but sunscreen on your face and you just want like a light gloss, some mascara, and then something to bring color to your cheeks, I think these would be an amazing alternative because they are that 2-in-1 product and they're just so thin that they melt into your skin flawlessly. Like they really do melt into your skin and dry down quickly to, I would say, a powder finish. It's when it comes into contact with any of those other products underneath that you might struggle with patchiness, cakiness, things like that. So kind of mixed reviews on these. I wouldn't recommend them for everyone. They are cool. If you want to keep on the gelée bandwagon, I would recommend you check them out if all of that sounded like something that you're into. But yeah, I would think twice if you're totally new to the texture or a product like this, just because it might not be for everyone. So that is it from me today, guys. Those are 5 things that I've been using recently, my thoughts on them. I really hope you found this video useful and enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these things if you've tried them or if you've been considering picking them up. Let me know if you still plan on it or don't in the comments below. I love to be helpful to you guys, so your feedback is always so appreciated, as well as your time watching these videos, guys. Thank you so, so much. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.